Hey there, so it's that time of year again. Here in Michigan, we got to winterize our pool. That means we have to get our rails and ladder out of the pool so that we can throw a cover on this. Unfortunately, run into an issue where our rails and ladder are really stuck into our deck around the pool here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a trick that I've been using to help budge these free so we can finish the winterization process. So here we've got our pool ladder. This has always been the biggest pain to actually get removed from the decking. This thing is just totally stuck right here. The ladder and rails are affixed with wedge style anchors. I've already gone ahead and taken out the bolts. And you can see all this build up, kind of the mineral deposits here. And I think what happens is some of that just calcifies and kind of helps make a sort of bridging between the rail and the deck. And in past years, I've sometimes been able just to use sheer brute force and actually lift these out, but these past few years, it just seems like it's getting tougher and tougher. So I'm getting set up a bottle jack and a couple pieces of 2x lumber. And the lumber is really just to give me a little more elevation for the bottle jack. And then I'm adding a piece of 2x4 on the top that reaches both sides of the ladder, so I can hopefully lift them both at the same time, but we'll soon see that this isn't going to work out. I've also used just a normal car jack before. That works as well, just something that's going to be able to give you a lot of lifting force. And as I'm using the jack, it just goes slowly. I don't want to put too much force that's going to cause damage, but here after releasing this, I can see it still budge. And after trying to lift both arms at the same time, I decided just to focus on one at a time. So I now have the bottle jack and my piece of 2x positioned right underneath one arm. And after using the jack on one side of the arms, I still wasn't quite getting it budged, so I ended up pouring a little water at each of the anchoring points just to try and loosen up any solidification of those deposits around the posts. And for this next iteration, I just reposition the bottle jack underneath the same post, still have my 2x4 up top, and that's really just providing protection against the metal from the bottle jack to the pool rail. And again, just repeat the same process, going slowly. We can see here I'm going high enough now where actually part of the pool ladder seems to be bending slightly, so not what I'm exactly going for. I release the tension there. Now I'm just applying some force with rubber mallet from the side. I honestly don't know if this did much. Now I'm going to the other rail of the pool ladder and doing the exact same thing, just using the bottle jack, going slowly. And we can see it's slightly lifting out of the water, but we're not seeing the post actually lifting from the decking. All right, bringing in the big dog. Gonna try the sledgehammer. Got a piece of 2x here that I'm gonna aim for. Still got the jack underneath this. I don't know if I really need it or not right now, but we're gonna. Gonna go ahead and release this now. Just see if we've made any change. Oh yeah. Nice and loose on this side now. This other side still needs some work again, but I'm gonna bring the jack back to the other side. All right, so we're getting the bottle jack set up again. Back to the first arm. I was just looking at the piece of 2x material that we're using on top of the jack, and you can see there is a lot of force going in here, about 1/4 of an inch indentation. And after jacking up this side a bit more, I used the sledgehammer and finally was able to get this side a little bit looser. I decided to try once more now to put the piece of wood in between both rails to see if I could jack it up. But as I jack it up, I see the wood start bending, and this reinforced the need just to focus on one arm at a time rather than trying to get them both to come out at the same time. And so I busted out the sledgehammer again, continued to work on this side of the ladder, and finally starting to see it loosen up even more, so making progress. And after rotating back to the other side, I was finally able to get the post to actually start to lift out of the ground about an inch or so. And so again, I just ended up going back then to the other side and kind of taking this alternating approach between the two sides, trying to get them both up. We're getting some movement upwards here on this side, finally.
Okay, did you do that?
Yeah.
Wait, help me with this side again.
Okay, we gotta get this other side up.
Yep, it's like this high there. Maybe around 10 centimeters high.
Mm-hmm.
Won't you say probably?
Yeah. Alright, never been closer. Oh yeah.
Okay, you want?
Just watch your toes.
Should I? How, Dad? That was the time that was
Okay.
really literally elevated. Oh, it's really helping out.
There we go. Yes.
How deep does that hole go?
Pretty deep.
You felt new?
Oh, there it is. There's one of the wedges. And looking in these anchor posts, you can just see all that grime and buildup in there on the ladder. That was really what was causing everything to stick. And you can see here kind of this metallic looking paste on it. So I will definitely be taking some time to scrub these down, get all the gunk off, and try and find some good metal lubricant that will hopefully protect this during next season so that we don't have similar buildup. And looking at the posts, they did get a little bit dinged up, and I really don't know if this was from the sledgehammer or even just the jack trying to lift them out while they were still stuck in the ground may have caused them to warp a little bit. But at the end of the day, had to do something to get these out of the ground. Here's just a quick look at the buildup on some of these wedges that I'm pulling out of the posts. See that kind of that white powder, whether it's calcium or sodium, but definitely does not help in being able to get these ladders out of there. So, and I'd be lying if I said it was easy. It was still a lot of work. Definitely think the jack helped. Using the sledgehammer and mallet just to kind of jostle things around helped kind of break that fusion between the metal on the ladder and then the anchor posts down there. And then we had the rails over by the stairs and had pretty much the same situations we had with the pool ladder, just very stuck in place. Tried to kick it, didn't really work. So it was time to take action using our bottle jack again. And our stair rails, they sit up a bit higher than the ladder did, so I actually ended up making just a quick little jig here out of some scrap wood, just essentially that I could use to place my bottle jack on in order to be able to actually reach the underside of the top of the rail. So we've got our jack support and our bottle jack here, and then I'm just going to use a scrap piece of 2x4 to go ahead and protect our rail from the jack itself. Start jacking it up. So as I'm doing this, it's important that I maintain some level of center here and balance so that this whole thing doesn't kick out. Because there's quite a bit of force being applied now with this jack. And we can see we've got this end that is continuing to kind of move up, which is good. But then on this end, as I'm continuing to jack this up, really not getting much movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the jack out and try to reposition it. I ended up standing my jig sideways, just again to accommodate the elevation at this side of the rail. I'm still using the 2x4 on the top side of the jack just to protect the rail. And same process as I used for the ladder and the other side of the rail, just slowly jacking this up, just trying to break the bond between the rail and the decking. All right, after using the jack a couple times, Definitely looser around this end. This one would pop out no problem. This one is still just in there a little bit, but I think we're getting to the point we're just kind of wiggling it around in all different directions. And at this point, it really was just a matter of kind of wiggling it around every which way, trying to continue to break the bonds, and finally it was able to pop free. Very similar to the pool ladder, the ends of the rail here just had a lot of buildup on there. The anchor posts had lots of buildup inside. So all of that was just what was keeping them stuck in place. And we'd actually converted our pool to a saltwater pool a couple years ago. And I actually think that that may be a contributing factor for all this buildup, just the sodium that gets on the metal, kind of causing things to solidify a bit. And then I pretty much repeated the identical process for the other rail. And we can see here, just using the bottle jack, and I was able to have pretty good success in being able to start lifting the rail out from the anchors. And overall, it really is important just to go slow, don't overdo it, get them loose and wiggle them around, and eventually they will pop free. So now we are ready to close the pool for the winter. Hopefully this helped you. If so, feel free to like and subscribe.